I've been trying to get you on the phone. Like, I've been doing some interviews with my closest friends, and like, you're so far
I
away.
know. I'm so sorry. I'm so busy.
Like, what? That's what I get for like getting a friend that is like, traveling all the time,
And it's so
lives in LA, and
amazing. And
so
she's
amazing.
smart. And she's
Yeah,
pretty. And,
all of that and a little bit more.
I
So
know. I miss you,
humble.
though. I wish that we lived in the same city again.
Right. That would be dangerous, first of
That
all.
would be dangerous. I think I would have needed 2 liver transplants by then.
But anyway, so I've been doing these interviews with my closest friends. Like, as you know, I've been going through some internal work. Like, I've been doing a lot of like personal growth and like changing my mindset and reading a lot and just like trying to be better mentally. So I've been doing this with my closest friends just to like strengthen our relationships. And I was like, oh, like I have to do this because I'm releasing this YouTube channel. It's gonna be a series of videos, and I wanted to get one with you, but I was like, I can't really release them without Joe like knowing about it. Like, I want her to know. But
Yeah.
I definitely had to do a follow-up video when we see each other for my birthday in a few months.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the reason why I'm doing this video is because I wanted to discuss something with you that you have never heard about me, and I wanted to get your reaction, like first, like your first reaction to this, and it's something that just hasn't come. Like, we haven't actually just talked about it. We haven't had a lot of like really deep conversations about this topic, and it just hasn't been something that I've been talking about to anyone really. So, without further ado, no. And this is gonna like make so much more sense when I tell you. You're gonna be like, I don't know if you're gonna be surprised or whatnot, but I want to get your first reaction to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my
So
god,
what
I'm
I
really.
wanted to tell you, and this is really hard because you pretty much know everything about me,
I
right?
know, I
Like, at
know,
this point, like, you know everything about me.
I
We can't
know.
talk about that on screen right now.
Which I'm kind of like surprised that there's something that I don't know.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? I'm gonna have to believe that.
Just kidding, I would know already.
So I wanted to bring you in because I'm doing this interview with a bunch of my closest friends. There's not even a lot, honestly. It's only a couple of the ones that I'm closest to, and it's something that I've been working through internally to just feel comfortable talking about it. And it's something that you don't know about me, which is surprising because you are like my best friend. Like, you know everything about me, you know.
I know.
So I wanted to get your first reaction to this, and then we can talk about it, and you can tell me what's going through your head and all that stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. Okay,
No, it's
okay.
okay. It's gonna be fine. So what I wanted to tell you is that I am actually a DACA recipient. I am a dreamer.
Yay! Okay, that does make sense.
So why I wanted to tell you is because I feel like in our kind of interactions and relationship, it has kind of made it a little difficult for me to come to like trips abroad. You're
Mhm.
always inviting me to like go to Korea, or like the latest one was for your birthday to Paris. And I
Mhm.
was so sad that I couldn't make it, but it's something that is actually out of my hands. Like, I think you know a little bit about what DACA is, what dreamers are. You are a pretty well-spoken activist, and there has been a few times where we've actually just talked about it, but we actually have never sat down and at
And
least
you told me that
myself
you were
tell
part of
you,
DACA. Yeah.
yeah. And it was actually something that has been liberating just to talk about because it has it has kept me from growing. I feel like I was always like doing these things with like graduation and getting through school and now getting job opportunities. But there's always been something like has been keeping me like grounded and just like not moving forward, you know? And so it's something that has kept me just stuck, I feel like. And it's something that I actually had to sit down with myself and just kind of like be okay with it, you know, like own it and talk about it. And it's definitely been quite a journey. When I release these videos, you'll see I'm going to sort of kind of bring my life story to the screen. And hopefully, there'll be some people that will be inspired, and we'll see where that goes. But I wanted to hear what's going through your head first.
I mean, like, I think because I live in a community that I do see a lot of DACA people, you know, like, so it's kind of like normalized to me. But you live in a community that DACA is such a huge thing, you know? So, but for me, I'm so proud of you. It makes sense of why you said no for my birthday. And yeah, it hurt a little bit that you weren't there for me for my birthday. But I understand now and I get it, you know? And I kind of I had a feeling because you wouldn't have said no. You know, like you have never said no. So when you said no, I was just like, I wonder, you know? Or even when I was just like, oh, we could go to Mexico for a couple days. You never like, you weren't excited about it. You weren't saying anything about it. So that was kind of like another kind of hint to me. So I had a feeling, but then I wasn't sure about it.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. I've been bringing it up a couple of times, but why is it so difficult for us to talk about it? You know, like why is it such like a taboo type of thing? Like, and that was definitely how I was thinking about it. And I was just like, at some point, I was just ashamed of it. You know, like I feel like I got the opportunity, but I was still carrying a label that was given to me. You know?
Yeah, like you were ashamed to have that label. And it's sad because we should normalize it. It's not a big deal, you know, like you should be proud of it, being like, yes, I am DACA, but look at everything that I've been through because of it, you know?
Yeah. It's been, I mean, I had to work myself to be okay with it. I feel like I mean, that's only a small portion of what being a dreamer is. I feel like there's so much more that went on before that, you know? Like how I came into the country, the things that happened all in between that until I actually got the opportunity to be a DACAist, you know? Like I didn't have any opportunities until only a few years ago, you know? So, and then what does that mean moving forward? Like as you said, like I don't have a lot of opportunities outside this country. I'm pretty much just stuck here, and I always tell people like I feel like I'm in a golden cage, you know, like I can thrive, I can make money, I can succeed as long as I stay in here
within the U.S. Yeah.
So that's been the toughest part. Yeah. So it's been that's been the toughest part, just how limiting it is to just have to keep my successes here, you know. And so that's what I've just been doing, like just talking about it, and it's been like really interesting to hear people's reactions, also just to hear how similar of circumstances we've gone, even just as Latinos, you know? Because there's Latinos that are here legally, and there's the Latinos that are not, and then there's DACA, and there's like a bunch of other stories out there that I'm hoping that by just exposing my story, it'll be a conversation starter.
Yeah, like a gateway for people to be able to have conversations like that. Like, we shouldn't live in a society where we hide our immigration status, you know? Like, we should be proud of our heritage, but then yet we live in a society right now that we're so scared of talking about anything because we could get in trouble for it, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. So I think, yeah, for you, that's been the biggest thing. Like, I was like, oh man, like, we never miss each other's birthdays, you know? And like,
I
I
know.
really can't. It's out
I
of my.
know. I know. And you
Yeah.
know, like I understood and I had a feeling, so that's why I didn't even like I didn't push it and I didn't try to push you to like try to get the flight or anything because I was just like if he said no it's for a reason and you know, like
Yeah.
but I didn't want to like pressure you into being like into telling me anything that you didn't want to tell me.
Yeah. That's interesting. So, how do you feel like if you were to meet someone that you don't know, would you ask them, or why is that also like very difficult to just bring up?
You know what? I just think it kind of sounds more like there's this taboo that if someone you're dating doesn't have the citizenship, they're with you to get that status. And
Uh,
it's sad, you know, because you don't want to think about stuff like that. But then if you do ask, that's going to be in the back of your mind.
yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I kept it within me. I was like, I don't want anyone to feel bad for me or have pity, you know, like I
Yeah,
don't want people to focus on that when they
yeah,
first meet me. I want them to see what I've done with that opportunity, right? So I've graduated, I have a university degree, I'm working, and I've done all these things because of that opportunity, and I want people to focus on that and not on the, oh, he didn't come here legally and he is someone that got an opportunity by the government or whatever their
yeah.
story
No,
might be in their heads, right?
honestly, and it hasn't been like it's been handed to you on the platter. You have worked so hard, and I've been the witness to that of how
Mm,
like of how much work and effort you put into your school and how hard it was for you to even like go to school for 1 year, you know, like you had to keep taking
mm,
breaks because of circumstances. And that's what I mean. It's just like it's not like you came into this and be like, I'm gonna be a dreamer and I'm gonna get it all handed to me. No, it doesn't even work like
yeah.
that. Like you work, I feel twice as much that I would because you need to keep that status, you know? Like you need to keep like you're giving this opportunity so you need to make it worth it as opposed to me that
Yeah.
it's just whatever, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, and I've seen it in a lot of people just because all of the opportunities are there for them, right? Like,
Hmm.
but they don't take advantage of that, and that I didn't even have that commodity, right? I was literally or have been in survival mode for the last couple of years. So, I have to like move quickly with what I'm trying to do and what I'm planning. With school, I had to move quickly because I had a limited amount of time to make that
Yeah.
happen because you don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, right? You
Yeah.
only have that privilege for 2 years, and then you have to reapply and see if they give you that privilege again. So that's what my life has been for the last 6 years or so. Um, and so, I mean, it was a big wake up call because as we speak, I didn't know if I was gonna have my permit back. My permit was expiring this month.
Oh,
And so, after like everything went down with the government shutdown or whatever, I was like, this is gonna take forever, like longer than it is usually, right? So I was like, it actually like put me in a very difficult situation and also just put everything into perspective, and I realized how much pressure and how limiting it was just to keep this to myself, right? Because going through that worry and that bad space of not knowing what's gonna happen and now being able to like share with my friends, and like just talk about it. It was very, very tough to go through that. And I was like, that's stupid. Like, I should be able to just if I'm going through something, like reach out to Joe or to whoever, right? And just talk about it. And
Mhm.
so that's what it was, like a wake up call, like to like just own your truth, you know?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's
And
where
then
I'm at right now.
the more you talk about it, the easier it's gonna be for you to say it, you know?
Yeah. So I'm doing it in a very extreme way. Like, yeah, I'm talking about it to my friends, but I'm actually gonna publish this for the world to see. And that's a little scary. But I feel like it's like a bandage. Just rip it off, and then that saying that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? That's always in the back of my head. On my head,
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
yeah.
So, were you ever worried that they were gonna take it away with this new presidency?
Yep, that was always the word, and it was because of the narrative, right? Like what the current administration's take on it was.
Mhm.
Just the lack of empathy for the people that are getting this opportunity. It's just like, oh, like if we decide to, we can just take it away.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was definitely a worried. But when this administration came in, I had started a term, so I had 2 years to just, I guess, not be worried about it, but at the same
Mhm.
time, just like think ahead, like what's gonna happen. And thankfully, like it's still going, and there is people out there trying to protect us and to get a resolution, more permanent resolution for the Dream Act, and that's the hope right now. Like, I feel like in our minds, most dreamers, we came here as kids, like this
Yeah,
is the
like you
country that
had
we
no
know
choice
of.
in the matter.
So to us, in our minds, we are US citizens. We've grown here, but we just don't have that legalities, that paper
Mhm.
that says so, um, permanently. So, my hope, I keep saying it, is just like you've already given us the opportunity. You didn't give us what we made out of it, We created something out of it.
Yeah,
Now we
exactly.
just want the recognition and the opportunity to just be part officially of this country because we've put in the work and I think we deserve it. Yeah.
That's
So
crazy,
definitely very worried. So we'll
and that
see
makes
what happens.
you more inspiring to me, you know?
It's taken some work. I had to be at that right mindset to talk about it. And I literally have had to like break myself up and rebuild myself up, right? Like several times throughout my life.
Mhm.
And this was the most latest ones, and I think that it's I've been strong in that sense of just pulling through, but then I can't help but to think about of the people that have not gone through that, that are still ashamed of it, that are still not talking about it, that they're still being discriminated for it, that they're not raising their voices, and then everything they hear about is assumptions and narratives that other people create, right?
Yeah.
For political reasons. Like, I don't want to create this to be a political like yell or like, hey, look at me. I just want to share the story of a real dreamer, like for other people to hear of someone that's gone through the same thing as them, and not to make it political, but just a human experience, right?
Mhm.
To talk about the obstacles, the journey, the challenges, the breakthroughs, the successes, and all that stuff through someone that has been through their path, and not by someone that is just there to use them as political pawns. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
I
And
know.
but yeah,
And
it's very sad.
whatever happens, you know that you could always count on me. You know, you always have
Yeah,
me. And that's
yeah.
something that you need to kind of tell yourself is like, don't be ashamed of talking about it. Don't be ashamed of being like, I have no idea what's going to happen. And I could freak out with you. We could both be a hot mess, you know? But you don't have to go
Totally.
through it alone.
Yeah. And but that's still part of the fight though, because that is the mindset that they've created on us, right? Like, we don't belong here. You are not from here. You That is not for you. Education is not for you. Like, you're, taking people's jobs or whatever. The mindset that they created on all of us dreamers is, you are less than us and you should stay in the shadows, right? And I'm like, fuck that. Like, we are dreamers, and we are not. Um, I hate it when they made it sound like we are victims of our circumstances. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, like, we're actually products of the opportunity that you guys created for us,
Like, you
but
just
we
want to
made
have
something
a,
out of it.
yeah, you want to have a chance to a life. That doesn't mean that you're going to have to work a minimum wage life. Like, that's not fair for you, you know? Like, if you've been in this country since you've been a little kid, why should you be limited to the advantages that I get,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So, to me, yeah, I want I we need that to change. And
Yeah.
and that's the narrative that they've put into our heads, and a lot of people have just become okay with it, and to me it's like, no, like, I'm not okay with it. I have so much more to do, that it's limiting me, just staying in that mindset of negativity and
Hmm.
not belonging. And I was like, and I was mostly afraid of just what would people say, what would people think, how they would judge me, all these ideas that I was just making in my head. And I was like, for the most part, you kind of have that control of owning your story. And so, taking back that narrative and just speaking your mind of the real story and the real experience that a dreamer goes through.
Hmm.
And that's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to ask me?
Not really, because you basically kind of like answered everything, like why you really didn't say anything and, you know,
Yeah.
what you've been feeling throughout the process and stuff like that. But I'm just so proud of you, and I really hope a lot of people get to see this and they get to really like normalize it, and they get to be like, you know, this guy is just like me, you know?
Yeah. And they just have to understand that they're in control of their narrative, right?
Hmm.
Like, they've already worked hard, they educated themselves, they have become successful. No one can take that away from you. You're still gonna be that person with all those skills and all those successes, whether you're here or somewhere else. Um, but the biggest fight, I think, is just taking back your story and just being okay with it,
Hmm.
because there is a lot of people out there that are putting ideas into people's minds, and not always for the right reasons.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to bring you into the loop, because this is gonna be an ongoing sort of like project for me, and we're definitely gonna have to do a follow-up video. When we're together in a few
For our
months.
vacation.
Yeah, much needed.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
anyways, I'm gonna end this video right here. Is there anything else that you wanted to say?
Know that I love you.
Oh, thank you, baby. Mwah! I love you, and I will see you soon.
Okay, bye, boo.
Bye.